Emily Murphy, 1868 to 1933, used to be a Canadian equal rights activist. She grew to be Canada's first woman justice of the peace and helped to repeal discriminatory law in opposition to women. In 1929, she succeeded in gaining a ruling that noted female have been criminal folks underneath the Vienna Act and so ought to serve as a member of Congress and judges. The world loves a peaceable man, however it offers way to a strenuous kicker. Emily Murphy short biography. Emily Murphy used to be born on the 14th of March 1868 in Cookstown, Ontario. Her household had been outstanding individuals of society. Her father used to be a rich businessman and landowner, who inspired all his youth to be concerned in assisting with his endeavors. Emily was once trained at a non-public college in Ontario, which helped to supply her a wider and extra liberal outlook on life. In 1887, she married Arthur Murphy, an Anglican priest. Collectively they had 4 children. After the dying of one of her teenagers from diphtheria, the household moved to Manitoba and then Edmonton, Alberta in 1906. Emily_Murphy. During 1900 to 1906, Emily started out writing patriotic tour sketches, posted underneath her pseudonym, Janie Canuck. However, in Alberta, Emily grew to become increasingly more engaged in social issues, turning into worry about good-sized poverty, and especially the welfare of female and children. In 1910, she grew to be the first girl appointed to the Edmonton Hospital Board. She was once mainly struck when she grew to become conscious that the property regulation gave girls no rights, and if a husband bought up property and moved out, the spouse and youth ought to be left with nothing. Murphy took to talking on problems of unjust social stipulations and injustice. After a few years of campaigning to overturn the unjust property law, in 1916, the Alberta legislature handed the Dower Act, giving female a prison proper to 33% of their husband's property. This gave female the energy of prison recourse, the profitable marketing campaign and new regulation more desirable the public profile of Emily Murphy. Emily Murphy was once additionally a member of the Equal Franchise League and labored with Nellie McClung to assist get the vote for women. Alberta Girls acquired the vote in 1916. Canadian Female in 1919, as section of her efforts to seem out for the welfare of women, in 1916. Murphy alongside with different activists tried to be at the trial of some female accused of prostitution. However, Murphy and the different girl observers have been requested to go away the courtroom throughout the trial. They had been advised it would be inappropriate for them to be present. Murphy felt it was once incorrect that women prostitutes have been being tried solely in the presence of men. She protested to the provincial attorney Common and argued that if ladies couldn't be tried with each guys and ladies present, they must be tried by using a girl judge. Because of her protest, Murphy was once allowed to turn out to be a girl justice of the peace, the first girl police justice of the peace in the British Empire. However, all through her first case on the 1st of July 1916, the defendant's attorney protested that Murphy's responsible verdict was once invalid due to the fact Murphy used to be a lady and therefore, below the BNA Act of 1867, was once now not a prison person. Because of this criminal challenge, Murphy started a lengthy marketing campaign to have girls labeled as persons, and the archaic 1867 regulation overturned. She allowed her identify to be put ahead as a candidate for the Senate. However, it was once grew to become down through Prime Minister Robert Borden due to the fact the BNA Act did no longer realize girls as a person. Motivated by using this anachronism, she located that one way to Tasca regulation used to be to existing a submission from 5 fascinated events to the Canadian Supreme Court. These grew to become regarded as the famous 5 and protected Nellie McClung, Lewis McKinney, Henrietta Edwards and Irene Parlby. This grew to be recognized as the person's case. And the Supreme Court dominated on the question, does the phrase person in Section 24 of the British North America Act consist of girl persons? In March 1928, the Canadian Supreme Court dominated that female did now not represent a person. However, undeterred, Murphy appealed to the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council in Britain, at the time, the best courtroom of appeal. The Privy Council ruled, on the 18th of October 1929, that ladies have been regarded an individual beneath the BNA and had been eligible to serve in the Senate. This used to be a landmark ruling and paved the way for female to enter authorities and help to alternate society's attitudes to female in many different professions. During the 1920s, in her work as a social activist, she got here into contact with many social problems. One trouble was once drug use, that was once frequently best possible amongst the Chinese immigrant population. She wrote a e-book, The Black Candle, which highlighted the troubles of drug dependency and argued for plenty stricter law to counter the trouble of drug addiction, particularly opium and cocaine. Drug use is a scourge so dreadful in its consequences that it threatens the very foundations of civilization. The highlighting of the drug difficulty used to be additionally carefully associated to the immigration issue. At the time, there used to be subject over tiers of immigration, and drug use through immigrants used to be considered as an excellent purpose to preclude immigration, and additionally forcibly deport immigrants. She criticized these who would label the Chinese as scapegoats for the drug problem, but additionally held views that expressed difficulty that different races may take over white society. Like many of her time, she used to be supportive of the eugenics movement. The concept that there wanted to be strict beginning manipulate to restriction populace boom and forestall mentally faulty humans from giving birth. At this time, many human beings who had been viewed to have abnormally low genius had been forcibly sterilized. Emily Murphy died in 1933. Except ever turning into a member of the Canadian Senate, however she had helped future generations of ladies to attain that. Emily Murphy is remembered for her contribution in elevating the profile of women's troubles and overturning legal guidelines which discriminated in opposition to their turning into a full member of society. Although her attitudes regularly mirrored the prevailing opinions of the day, she additionally was once a visionary who noticed many instances of injustice and fought to provide girls a fairer deal inside society.